Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Hello, how are you doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Just give me one sec. Yeah, we're good to go. Just check the audio, it's all good. And then we can get started. Yes, okay. Right there. So yeah, good morning everyone. How are we all doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Let me just throw some tunes on and we can get started. What we feeling today? EDM. Let's throw some EDM on. Let's throw some chill tunes on. Big Josh. Good morning, Jeffrey. How you doing? Does this come with not lyrics? Sorry, words. Sorry about that. Bit loud. Let me just turn it down. Right. That's not bad. Got 47 minutes of these types of songs. Good to hear. Good to hear. Happy you're staying away from that that move. Instead of trying to just catch a trade, it's good that you're just sitting back, waiting for that consolidation, and then from there we can pivot into a trade. But we are good to go. Let me just make a announcement. I can't even see my monitor because my camera's in the way. There we are. Free unlimited wins. Let's get started. So yeah, fundamentally, if you've seen the market outlook in the free Discord server, if you haven't, first link in the description. That is where we basically covered all of this. So we looked yesterday and we seen that, we've got a bit of stuff. This morning we had a bit of stuff like 5:30, 6:05. We had some red folder news. Now we did have a Bank of Japan speech. Governor Ueda. I don't even know how to pronounce that shit, but Bank of Japan. That's all we need to know. So if we want to track that, if you wanted to track that, you should have known where to go. It was Financial Juice. There we go, a bit slow. And we can see the highlights of this. So if you just scroll through this down to 6 o'clock, there'll be a few red highlighted stuff somewhere. Maybe. Not really. There's no red folders or red stuff. If trend inflation moves to around 2%, it is desirable to move our policy rate to near levels seen neutral to the economy and prices. Nice. We will raise interest rate if the economy and prices move in line with forecast. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that was good. If we look at GJ, should be able to see what is going on. So off of that news, which was 6 o'clock this morning, I'm hovering over that now. You can see we did push up nicely. Since then, we have been consolidating, which is perfect for us. Exactly what I wanted to see. Straight after hitting take profit on that trade I was talking about on Sunday night, Monday morning. So we go off Financial Juice. But yeah, that's all we had to worry about. We had a few bits of red folder. We got a bit of red folder at 3 o'clock in about half an hour. CB Consumer Confidence. Good evening, Darnish. Now, if we could, well, we are accumulating now, as you can see already. Maybe this news could give us that push to get that manipulation. Hopefully, if we get that push off of news, get that manipulation, that fake out, then we can look at trading in the opposite direction after 3 p.m. So what we really want to be doing is waiting until 3, maybe 3:15 to actually take the trade. unless we see something literally right now, we're going to wait until 3:15 to take the entry. But what we're going to do is, obviously, we're going to do the analysis, all that stuff, so that when it comes to 3:15, we already know what to look for, we already know what to expect, and we can just see if the market gives us that. Gives us it, yeah. So that's the fundamentals out the way. Literally nothing like major. 3 p.m. Just got to avoid that. Other than that, we're good to go. Now, on GJ, I think a few people have been struggling in the free Discord with the analysis of this. Now, what they've been doing is basically, I think you may have took my market outlook the wrong way. I wasn't basically confirming a manipulation or an accumulation. I was basically anticipating one, and we didn't get one. We got the rest of this move. Now, if you remember anything from yesterday, I was in a trade literally from the bottom of this move, like here, all the way up to literally the top of this move. I think I had to close it because I didn't actually get a close, because that's how close we were to my take profit. We literally barely tapped it. So that happened. So since then, that was the expansion phase I was trying to catch. And after the expansion phase comes accumulation. Now, what was going on was, basically, I was saying that we were waiting for an accumulation. We didn't get the accumulation, but a lot of people tried to basically paint the idea that we got one on the 1 hour this is. Now, what you want to do with AMD typically is align as many time frames as you can. But basically, the hourly was saying that we're still going to continue up here, but the 15-minute was just chilling a little bit, a very little, very, very little bit. And a lot of people seen that as the accumulation. And I'm going to go into the 15-minute now, once I just get rid of all of this. Actually, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to get rid of this yellow box. You know what that is. That is the expansion phase or reversal. It's the X phase. If we go to the 15-minute, this is what was going on. So a few people, basically, I'm just going to draw over this. Ignore this for now. A lot of people basically said that this was the accumulation. And that, this little move down here was the manipulation, and this was the distribution. And now that, if you had that idea, you could have won that. But what a lot of people aren't doing is basically, why you set the TP there? I set the TP there because this is where liquidity is, up here, and it's also inside of a monthly fair value gap. So I was anticipating a move down from here, from this 4 hour. If we go to the 4 hour, it'll be a bit clearer. We moved up, then we retraced back to the 4 hour fair value gap, and I was basically anticipating a push up to this monthly one here. Obviously, this fair value gap was where I managed as well a few times. But yeah, that's where my TP was. Now the 15-minute, basically what had happened was, if we look at this now, this is the expansion phase. This is one expansion phase. Yeah, we know that. But a lot of people painted the idea that this was the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Now this would have been right, but what you have to think is, this is all hindsight bias. Us going back into the markets, going back a few hours and seeing that we basically had a consolidation, but then we also had a move up above that consolidation, then a move down below the consolidation, and then a nice move up. So you choosing to ignore this high over here is just, it's not ignorance, because I wouldn't say you're being ignorant. I'd say it's just hindsight bias. You see that basically we've had the move up, and if this was in real time, if we were watching this occur in front of our eyes right now, we would assume that that was the manipulation. We would not assume that this is the consolidation. We would go, this is a valid manipulation into this fair value gap over here. And then we would anticipate the distribution move to the downside, which we got. Now, a lot of people think that it's all big moves. They think AMD is all big moves, which it's not. And I'm going to get into the trades in a minute, guys. All you need to know is we're consolidating, we're waiting for manipulation, but I'll explain that in a second. AMD is liquidity. AMD is not a big move. It's liquidity. We take one side of liquidity and then take the other. That is how it works. Now, when there's an AMD cycle with volume, we typically have bigger moves because obviously there's more volume in the market, so we have stronger moves, stronger pushes, all that stuff. And if you look at the time, you can see that basically, I'm basically explaining all this price action for you. So basically, we didn't have really any volume. We had a little bit up here. We had like 5k, but not much, not as much as we usually have. So we wouldn't have anticipated a big move because it's Asian session. It's low volume anyway. We wouldn't have anticipated a massive move to the downside. Well, suppose you would have. Actually, sorry. Yeah, suppose you would have anticipated a big move to the downside, basically basing all of that on the JPY speech. Now, obviously, that's red folder news. You don't know how that's going to go, so you don't trade that, so you should have got out here anyway. But that is one whole AMD cycle. Now, there's also something called AMDX, isn't there? Which we should have gone over a few times, or you should know by now. AMDX, that's what is going on the 1 hour time frame, isn't it? So we've had A, we've had M, we've had D. Now, you can either wait for the accumulation or you can anticipate an expansion phase. Now, why would there be an expansion phase here? Well, an expansion phase would come when there's an influx in volume, maybe even volatility sometimes, but they come hand in hand, don't they? So the expansion phase of AMD would typically only really happen through New York because that's when we usually have that volume always there. Now, if you look back over here, you can see there is JPY red folder. This is probably the biggest JPY news you can have, other than the CPI and stuff. It's basically the equivalent of FOMC Jay Powell speech. Well, it is the equivalent. Sorry, not basically. It is. So we had the equivalent of an FOMC speech or Jay Powell speech for Japan in Asian session. So we are going to get an influx of volume from that in anticipation for it, and when it also is occurring. So you can see at 3 a.m. leading up to 6 a.m., we just moved up. Then 6 a.m. comes, we push up with no bottom wick and just keep pushing up to this fair value gap up here, which eventually took me to my take profit, obviously. So what we've had here is AMDX on the 15 and AMDX on the 1 hour as well. So we took buy side, had a bearish retracement, took sell side, then had a bullish retracement, paired that with the volume that was coming in from the not Jay Powell speech, the Bank of Japan speech, and we basically just pushed up and up and up and up. That's what's going on, and that's probably why so many people have struggled, because this is quite an irregular day. We don't usually have like this, exactly how this forms. You don't really have small like this and then a massive move up. So I can see how a lot of people would have assumed that this was the distribution move. Now, I needed to explain that in order for us to understand what was going to happen next. So AMD is just cycles. It's constantly occurring. So what's next is that accumulation with the 15 and the 1 hour. Now, this is going to be a bigger range. Why? Because we are in New York session. It's not going to be some small range. It's going to be a big range. Now, if we go to the 1 hour time frame, you can see that we are coming back up to this high. Now, what would validate this as an accumulation is if we come up to this high, reject off of it, and come back down to this low. So if we do something like this, right, we come up here, then come back down, that is the accumulation. That's a valid accumulation already. If we come back up, that's great. If we come back up, that'll be perfect even. So that's what we'd really want to see in a best case scenario, is that for the accumulation. Now we can get rid of all this. So we are waiting for an accumulation phase. Well, we're currently in the accumulation phase. We're trying to see if it's valid, because what could happen is if we just continue up, you got to think about how it would look. Like when you're coming up with these ideas, guys, you got to like look at how, you got to imagine what price would look like. So if there was loads of candles coming up here, this would not look like a consolidation. This would just be a retracement, wouldn't it? Simple as, like, not an accumulation. Therefore, you wouldn't expect the manipulation, take out liquidity. Therefore, you wouldn't expect the distribution move to the downside. All that stuff. So you want to wait to basically bounce off these highs and lows a couple times before we see this as a valid accumulation. But you can see it's already starting. We've had the expansion phase. Now we are anticipating the accumulation phase of AMD. So that means that we not only need to wait for the accumulation, we need to wait for the manipulation. Now, where can the manipulation go to? There's a couple of places, I guess. To the downside, it's not really that likely. We haven't really got much structure here. If we go to the 4 hour, no, I'm corrected, sorry. We have a nice fair value gap here on the 4 hour. If we just draw that out. And obviously we got this up here as well. We need to actually take out liquidity. We haven't took it out yet. We just basically equaled it. So we could anticipate that into this 4 hour up here. If we just draw that in. So you can see we've got a few areas we could manipulate into. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this to here just so it keeps things clean without us forgetting about the fair value gap. If we go back to the 15, you can see what's going on here now. So I'm just going to drag this down here just for... There we are. Okay. So what we'd want to see is a manipulation. After this accumulation has occurred, we'd want to see a manipulation up to here, then down here. That would be best case scenario. That is basically what we'd want to see because of the high time frame stuff. If we go to the monthly, quite a big jump, but if we go to the monthly, there's a nice monthly fair value gap here. I've missed it out a little bit, but all the way up there, you know, nice monthly fair value gap. Just go to the weekly. It's the weekly as well, obviously, you know, nice weekly there, and the daily as well. It's the daily right here. That's what I've drawn from from wick to wick, but it also is a weekly, monthly, and a daily, 4 hour, all that good stuff. So that gives us our bias, basically. We're not looking to continue bullish through a monthly fair value gap, are we? We're not retards. Sorry about that. So, I don't know why I said that, but... So, we are looking for sells. That's it. Need I say more? We are looking for sells. Manipulate up, distribute down. Unless we see this exact thing happen, we're not going to be taking any trades on it. I don't really need to say anything else. I think that is what that's what I'm saying. I've walked you through all of the price structure. It's very important that I walk you through what's happened, so that I can show you what I think is going to happen and why. If I just told you this, you wouldn't learn. You wouldn't learn anything. You'd just know that we've got to wait for that move up, and then we can catch a nice move down. So hopefully we can consolidate, maybe off of this news. Not likely. It's not likely. Hopefully we can, though. If we can consolidate off of this, then we can look at, you know, catching that distribution move. If we just move straight up, it's a retracement, and therefore it's still that continuation of expansion. So we are just waiting for an accumulation now. Now that's it. You've just got to wait for accumulation. Don't try and call this. Don't try and call that. When you see a fair value gap, just leave it. Just ignore it. Wait for the accumulation, and that is how you're going to catch the most efficient moves. Just sit here, sit on your hands, go do something else for the rest of the day. Set alerts if you've got thingy premium. Set some alerts for price. Check in, like, set a timer. Check in like an hour, see what's going on. Whatever it is, just do something else. You don't need to sit here and force trades. But yeah, so we just got to wait for that accumulation. Now, on gold, I took a trade as well. I'm going to walk you through that whilst we wait for that red folder news out in 10 minutes. How about gold? Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Please, what is the name of your indicator? I do not have an indicator. I don't use indicators. They lag. I used to use EMAs. Oh, sorry. I used to use EMAs, which are moving averages. They were like probably my favorite indicator, but I don't like them anymore. I don't need them. So gold. What is going on gold? The cleanest price action I have seen in a while on gold. So I took this almost instantly. So what has happened here? You know, I don't need to explain much, do I? Manipulation, accumulation, manipulation, distribution, expansion. Perfect take profit placement. Perfect entry. Yeah. So what was my entry? So we came obviously into that fair value gap, which isn't really an hourly. There was an hourly here, which we'd started trying to close out of. So I used that as, you know, basically when we flipped back into it, I used that as like a confirmation, confluence, whatever you want to call it. We didn't get a candlestick pattern on the 15, but what we got instead, which was an equal trade really, we got a candlestick pattern on the 5 minute, calling the top, as you can see right here, nice evening star. Not only that though, we had a nice head and shoulder pattern on the 1 hour. You can see the left shoulder, head, and then the right shoulder, and that's where I took my entry, at the top of the right shoulder, which was called by the 5 minute candlestick pattern. Now I was a little bit late to this because I haven't checked gold much, but I checked it, instantly seen it, and near enough instantly grabbed my phone and just sold. Now why was my take profit here? Just because it's the low liquidity. Now if we had a move down like this, let's say we had a move down like this, and then we came up here, and then we accumulated like this, maybe I would have targeted this low rather than here. But this accumulation was both of those things. So it was not only the accumulation low, it was also the swing low. So I targeted there, and I had like near enough 100%. I knew basically 100% that we were going to retrace from here, and look exactly what happened. Straight back to entry, straight back into drawdown for anyone who didn't close that trade there. Simple. That was like a 1.1 hour, which isn't, you know, amazing. I caught a 3R on GJ yesterday. That was that trade I just walked you through. But yeah, so that's what's going on at gold. Literally, we're waiting for the same thing, really. We've had that expansion. Now we're waiting for an accumulation. And as you can see, we're getting that accumulation right there. Nice move up, followed by what? An accumulation. Simple stuff. So what happens after an accumulation? Manipulation. Where can we manipulate into? Well, there's two places, really. There's obviously this up here, down here, sorry. This fair value gap. We took liquidity up here, by the way. So we are expecting a bearish retracement. I'll touch on that in a second. But if we were to manipulate to the upside, we'd probably look to take out this liquidity. And the way this would go is, because there's not really a fair value gap here, we'd look to take the liquidity and then basically grab it, come straight back into this fair value gap, which is on the 1 hour, which is on the 15 minutes, sorry. Oh, sorry, I thought I was on the 15 then. That's on the 5 minute. Internal accumulation. But we're waiting for that consolidation on the 15. And now if we're to basically do that, what we'd want to see is come and take out this liquidity up here, grab it, come back down into this fair value gap. Because if we closed outside of it, it would be an inverse fair value gap, and therefore it would be bullish. So we'd look to come straight up and straight back down in one wick, taking out this liquidity, and that would be the manipulation. Just simply because we haven't got a fair value gap. Now that's a bit risky. I don't really trade that. I like to wait for the closes. That's how I do it. If you want to, you can if you want. But we obviously got to wait for more confirmation that this is an accumulation. We haven't really got an accumulation yet on the 15. On the 5, we have. On the 15, we haven't. But I hope that makes sense. Now, what makes the most sense here, really, is taking out this liquidity. We took this liquidity out. We grabbed it, whatever. So we'd expect a bearish retracement. Now, if we consolidate here, we can then get a bearish retracement into this fair value gap and then catch a distribution move to the upside. That would make the most sense. Now, what I'm going to do just to keep things a little bit clean is get rid of this, this, and this, and this. And that's what we're anticipating on gold. We need to just obviously wait for that accumulation. Then once we've got that accumulation, we can then wait for manipulation. I'm anticipating, or I'm expecting, and I'm only going to trade if we get a manipulation to the downside into this 5 minute fair value gap. Is that a 5 minute fair value gap? Ugh. It's a 30 minute as well. 30 minute as well. That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Coming down into this fair value gap, and then we take that entry from a candlestick pan, whatever. That's what I'm seeing on gold. Bitcoin, consolidation. Simple stuff, guys. Accumulation. Do I need to draw the boxes out? I wouldn't have took this trade because I would have been waiting for us to come into this fair value gap, but we did manipulate to the downside, coming towards this fair value gap, and then just distribute to the upside. Now, this was coming, as you can see, if you look at the very bottom, you can see the time. around about the same time we started pushing up on GJ. So this Bitcoin move was probably linked to the that Bank of Japan speech we had, the anticipation of that. Now, we had the distribution, and instead of having an expansion, we had near enough a consolidation right here. So we could wait for a manipulation. Now, where would the manipulation go? If we go to the upside, we can go into this fair value gap up here, which looks like it. Yep, that's a perfect BPR. This is a really strong sign. If you look here, this is like if you search up on TikTok BPR, this is what you'd see. You wouldn't see some sloppy mess. You'd see the most efficient BPR there is, which is this one. The third candle of the bullish fair value gap is the first candle of the bearish fair value gap. As you can see, we've got a bullish fair value gap here and a bearish fair value gap literally in line with it. That is a BPR. That's the perfect example of a BPR. So I'm going to label it a BPR there. BPR 15 or M15. So we would expect a nice reaction off of that. So what I'd want to see is that I'd want to see a move up into here and a move down, maybe down to this fair value gap and actually taking it out now. Obviously, we'd look to manage in two areas, this area, and then full TP would be this fair value gap over here. But it's textbook, so systematic. You just draw boxes on a screen and then you know what to anticipate. But yeah, that's it. Honestly, that is it, guys. Now, there's news in 4 minutes, so we're going to wait and see what happens. Looks like we are chilling here, which is nice. There is a 15-min fair value gap here, which we respect, and I don't think we will respect it ultimately, though. But that's my analysis. GJ, looking for a manipulation to the upside, distribution to the downside. Bitcoin, manipulation to the upside, distribution to the downside. Gold, manipulation to the downside, distribution to the upside. Now, am I going to take every single one of these trades if they all occur at the same time? No, I'm going to take one of them. If one occurs, I will take one, and then until I'm out of that trade, I will not be taking another one. Simple as. Gold and GJ are quite correlated, and clearly Bitcoin from the news move you've seen before. So I'm not going to be taking all three of them. I'll take one, the first one to occur probably, or I might just stick to GJ, to be honest with you. But if you want to take these trades, you can. It's up to you, whatever. Also on gold, I've just noticed on the 30-minute, we have took this liquidity here, which means we are expecting a bearish retracement, which would align with our confluence with the 15 as well, align with our idea to basically manipulate after accumulating first, please, manipulate to the downside and then distribute up. But yeah, I hope that clears everything up for everyone. I hope everyone can now see where we are in the markets and what we're anticipating. How about gold? Please create a new Discord link. This one is expired. My bad. I will update that right now for you. Three minutes left till news. Right, so if I go to my... right there. I'm going to sort this out right now for you, mate. Right, it should be sorted now. The link should be valid. If you want to just give it a try, let me know. There we go, sorted. Is BPR stronger than... Yes, a BPR is a balanced price range. It is two fair value gaps overlapping. It is basically a fair value gap on steroids. Also, guys, if you're new here, don't forget to, join the free Discord, all that stuff, subscribe. But also, please just, hit the like button, spam the like button a few times, whatever it is. It really helps me out. All the YouTube business, the score. I hate to ask, but it really does help me out. If you just hit the like button, please. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's what we're waiting for. We got 1 minute left. 1 minute left until this news is released. We'll see how we react to that. Then no news on GJ. What do you mean? Do you mean like down here? It doesn't say anything. Yeah, you don't really want to be using the bottom of trading view for your news if that's what you're doing. 30 seconds left. Come on, mate. $20 seconds. See what's going on. Oh, that was released a bit early. Worse than expected. Pending. Actual pending. So that was early, and this is late. Worse than expected. Wah, wah. Down we go. No top wick though. If you know anything about OHLC or OLHC, you should expect a flip here. Perhaps. This is the hourly, the half hour, the 15, the 5, and the 1 minute, all with no top wick. So highly anticipate a flip. If you're a little super scalper, if you're on the 1 minute, if you are 1 minute demon, you can take a buy here and, you know, you probably will flip. We have respected that fair value gap though, that aligns. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be accumulating. We have to wait for the close though. If we close outside, then we're not accumulating. If we wick outside, it's all good and dandy. Now we have, or we are going to, looks like we are going to take liquidity here. And hopefully that can give us a bullish flip back into the accumulation range before the close. See what happens. But yeah. Honestly, guys, I have nothing else to do. I have nothing to share. You know how it is. Do more pairs. I don't really trade more pairs. If you want me to look at some, give us a shout. We'll have a look at GU, shall we? I know a few people trade GU. Oh, doesn't work like that. There we are, see. Let's see if we flip. GU, what's going on here? GU does have a bottom wick, so that probably won't flip. GU, it's literally the same thing. Accumulation, manipulation to the upside, and distribution to the... manipulation to the upside, distribution to the downside. Followed by an expansion phase. Now, where's this gone to? As you can see right here. Look, I just want to draw this out just to show how... I think the word's systematic. Just to show how systematic this is. Draw the accumulation. Draw the manipulation. We took liquidity. Came into a fair value gap. You could have took a buy straight off of this. Maybe if you found a candlestick pattern on the 15. Not really. I probably wouldn't have took that, but a few people would have. Billy Big Balls. See, look at that. Consolidate, fake out, move, consolidate, fake out, move, expansion. So we are anticipating an accumulation phase next. It's so simple. Josh, please Josh, USD JPY. Yes, I'll do that for you after this. Let's just see if there's anything on the 4 hour. We are pushing up quite high up here. You could use the fib if you wanted to. But we are anticipating a accumulation. Now, if we manipulate, we could manipulate into this fair value gap over here. If we go to the 1 hour, there might be something else. Yeah, there's a nice 1 hour fair value gap here, which we could manipulate into as well. That's more likely, really. So simple, really. So if we accumulate, you want to see a manipulation. Really, just because we're at relative new highs, so it's like We've probably been here before. I don't know. I don't trade GU, but it's relative. We haven't been here in a while. So if we accumulate, you'd want to see a manipulation to the downside and then maybe a continuation. That would be safer to trade than trying to call the top, honestly. If you really want to do that, you could pull out the fib, something like this, high from the swing high to the swing low, whatever you want to do. I don't really use the fib anymore, but this is best case scenario, which means this is the grade A setup, which means this is the only thing you want to be looking for. We accumulate, manipulate to the downside, and then catch a distribution to the upside. USD JPY. I'll have a look at that now for you as well. Oh, USD JPY. Now, if you're a person, if you ever heard of SMT divergence, if you trade that, you can actually use this with GJ to trade the divergence. If you wanted to. What's going on here? If we go to the 15, this is a bit more messy. We're going to start over here and draw it and see what happens. So we have a very clear accumulation here. By the way you do this is you go back to the most recent consolidation. Then when you go back to the most recent consolidation and then follow the phases of AMD until you get to the most recent price action. And that's how you'll identify what phase is next. So we accumulate, manipulate to the upside, come up to this area up here inside this fair value gap. Probably something happened where we closed inside the fair value gap or respected it or whatever. Then we had a nice distribution move to the downside, and this is the X phase. We kind of just messed around here, straight up, straight down. This is just a mess around. So after the distribution, it is always safer to wait for the accumulation. So if we just draw that out, it's basically we had a nice move up and a nice move down. You could have called that if you wanted to, but it's always safer to wait for the accumulation because you know what's next. You don't really know what's next with expansion. You got to just wait for that accumulation. Then we kind of chilled. Then we had the accumulation straight to distribution, unless this is external, which we'll see in a second. So we had a nice move up. Now this is either this is an internal distribution, taking out this liquidity up here, but it could also be an external manipulation, depending on what is going on. If we just look at this. USD is a bit messy, but we got an accumulation, manipulation to the upside, distribution to the downside, expansion, accumulation right here, and we'll see. It's the expansion or distribution phase. I don't trade AD, and this is why, because you don't really know. Now, what's the giveaway that this is? I suppose this probably is the manipulation. Simply because this is the liquidity up here. We took this or all this liquidity up here. So if we draw that out, then we have a nice distribution to the downside. TFT are doing crypto now, I think. 24/7, yeah. TFT, the funded trader, they are now doing 24/7 crypto. Just got an email. You can trade crypto on there 24/7. Now, external, what's going on here? We've had a very clear. So that's all higher time frame stuff, guys. Okay, looking at the 15-minute, you can see a nice accumulation right here, which gives that as the manipulation into not really much. This is why I don't really trade this. It's a bit messy. We have a nice hourly up here. Maybe we could come down to that. That would be nice. But we don't know. This, right, another thing actually. Basically, there's something called AD. So there's AMD, AMDX, and AD. Now, the premium members here, they will know exactly what I'm talking about. Basically, when there's enough liquidity, we don't actually need to take liquidity. We can go straight to distribution move. And that will typically happen when there is news. And if you just look at that, we had news at 3 p.m. That is a news candle. So this could also be the distribution. And we will know if we just start melting down. If we don't come back to this, if we don't start respecting this fair value gap, then we will start looking at, a consolidation as being the next phase rather than the distribution move. And that would make sense because we've got the liquidity, we've got the volume, we've got big news, so we don't really need to take liquidity at all. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. But USD JPY is a bit messy. It basically just is the DXY until like 10 p.m. Josh is gold found in crypto or indexes. I'm searching. Is gold found in crypto? I'm not too sure what you mean there. If you're trying to add it like this, what you want to do is you click this plus up here. You click. Oh, you can't even see that. Let me move my camera. Hello, I'm now in the middle of your screen. So, don't know what I'm on about. So if you click this plus over here, right, yeah, click that, and then just search up gold, and you can put it there. It's a commodity. It's not any of these. Not really. I guess you could class it as Forex because it's XAU against the dollar, but just search up gold or XAU USD, and it will be there. And then just click plus, and it will add it to your charts. I should move my camera back. Oh, fudge. There we are. I'm back. So yeah. Gold isn't a crypto or an index or anything else. It's a commodity. I guess you could really, if you want to be a smart ass, you could class it as Forex. But if you want to add it to your chart, that's how you do it. Just click the plus on the right-hand side. Click plus, search gold, and then add it to your chart. See what GJ is doing. GJ is still in this range. Nice. Bitcoin still in this range as well. That's nice. Gold pushing up. Not nice. GU chilling. Still doing its thing. So yeah, we just got to wait for this accumulation. And that's it. And that's what you got to do. You just got to wait for that accumulation phase. Then once you've got the accumulation, you can anticipate a manipulation either side. But that's it really. Trying to think. I've covered everything. I've taught you what I need to, or I've told you what I needed to tell you, or shown you what I needed to show you, or shown you my analysis, or shown you my trades, how I managed, blah blah blah. I've shown you a few pairs as well, what to anticipate on those. Now what we got to do is wait for those to happen, and tomorrow we'll come back and we'll see exactly how my analysis has played out. See whether I was right or wrong about what pair. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please just remember to hit that like button. You know what I mean. The YouTube business, you know the rules. Like the stream. If you're new here, subscribe. Check out the free Discord server because I send in my market outlook for GJ specifically every single day. So for free. So join the free Discord. It's where we all send our analysis in, all that stuff. We all talk about trades. Nice community, loving community. It's amazing. Join. First link in the description. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. But yeah, like the stream, guys, really does help out. And that has been me. I've got nothing else to share. I hope you've found this educational. I hope you got some value. I hope it's cleared things up for the people who were struggling to identify what exactly was going on in the markets today. But that's it. Now we just wait for this to happen. We go about our day. We don't sit here staring at the charts trying to force a trade because that's not why we decided to start trading, is it? We want more time. So we just go about our day, set alerts, whatever you want to do. Just keep an eye on it. Wait for this to happen. If it doesn't happen, oh well. If it does happen, take the trade, and there we go. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Thanks for tuning in. Have a lovely rest of your day. If you take any trades, I hope they go well for you.